I started making music or just
Hey man, question for you.
so my background is in music, playing music since I was 3 years old. I've been performing since I was around maybe 7. And originally, like, I thought my career was going to be as a performer, as a musician, as a recording artist. I'm in school right now at TMU for music, but I've always loved writing. Was always my favorite subject. I was always that girl that was up late reading to try and fall asleep because my mom made me put my phone away when I was a child. You know, clocked. November 2024 is when I decided I kind of wanted to create a platform for my writing and the things I was interested in. I took a lot of inspiration from Southport and just what you're doing, and I think it's so cool that through social media and like the rise of the internet, we are able to have these platforms for a really reasonable cost or basically free if that's how you're operating. So I'd say creativity has always been in my life, but I've just started like actively pursuing it in the past 2 years.
I kind of see myself a lot in you in the way that we're both kind of like creative kleptomaniacs
Yeah.
and we like doing a lot of different things.
hmm
How do you balance in your personal life and in the stuff that you're doing having so many interests?
Honest answer, I can't. And I'm really, really struggling with it, especially holding a platform that I created to cater towards all types of creativity. I find that balance really difficult to achieve just because I don't know everything about everything. And I don't know everything about fashion or film. Like, I'm mostly music oriented. And especially balancing having this platform along with school and my job is really difficult. But the saving grace to me has been my friends and family, and my parents and grandparents have been supporting me financially and emotionally throughout this whole journey, especially when wanting to pursue creativity as a career because it's really looked down upon in certain families and just in life in general. So I would say, yeah, my family and my friends have been not only like pushing me, but helping me achieve that balance where I can have a weekend where I just chill or like have a weekend where I really need to grind, which has been really important.
Where did your love for music start?
More so my mom than my dad, but my parents have always been super involved with music, making sure I was going to concerts at a really early age and making sure I was learning music. My parents always had this rule that my brother and I, until we graduated high school, had to be involved in one instrument and one sport. Through that and through learning piano when I started in early elementary school, kind of like grew my love for music. And I think through pursuing it as a passion or just like a learning opportunity, you get involved in the scene whether you like it or not. You're always learning about new artists, performance opportunities, just like the whole business of it. Get involved in music and learn an instrument if you want to get involved in the scene.
What about fashion?
I have just kind of discovered my fashion as a person, but the fashion industry itself, I have just familiarized myself with it recently. My aunt is pursuing her undergrad in fashion right now. She's about to graduate. Shout out, you're awesome. And through her, I've really learned a lot about sustainable fashion, which is now like one of my core values, and recycling and saving the world with that. And I also have a lot of friends since moving to Toronto that are involved with like the modeling scene, the designing scene. So that's how I've kind of gotten involved. I wouldn't say like I'm fully where I want to be with my knowledge of fashion yet. It's definitely something I want to learn more about because I think it's so cool.
Why did you start Adore magazine?
That's a really great question. To create something to do because I was bored. And I was really finding myself struggling with a way to pursue creativity because I was kind of taking a break from music and I just making music, my own music just wasn't my passion anymore, but I still wanted to like give something back to the community. When people think about art, when they think about fashion, when they think about music, they think of New York, they think of LA, they think of Milan, Paris, but people don't realize the stuff that's going on in Toronto. And I wanted to create a space where people could find those up and coming artists, the fashion designers, the filmmakers, because we need to support our community, and I think people deserve that here.
What's been the biggest learning curve for you so far?
Time management, scheduling, and prioritization. So I guess just organization in a whole, because there's so many things that I want to do, but I can't do everything that I want at once. And also balancing with school and work, that's been the biggest learning for me. I think is just my headspace and like knowing what I have to get done when I have to get it done and just like scheduling everything out. I also think asking for help has been a really, really big thing. I've always been super individual, super independent. I hate asking for help because to me it seems like defeat, right? You're like, it seems like I'm just giving up, but in reality, help opens the door to new opinions, new art, and just like a lighter workload for me so I could really focus on the things that I want to do and like keep running everything else.
You've gained a lot of traction and followers like really quickly.
Yeah.
Um, if someone else that you knew were starting a brand like today,
Mhm.
based off of what you've learned so far from starting a door, like what would be your first few tips you'd give them?
Honestly, I think the best thing that you can do if you're starting a new anything in the creative space or just any startup in general is talk to people that you know or you don't know that are pursuing similar business models and just figure out what they're doing and their strategy, which is exactly what I did with you. I scheduled a meeting with Hunter just to go over his business model for Southport and how he did things, and I kind of took inspiration from having an online blog space and like stuff like that. So I'd say that's number one is reach out to your peers and make connections and learn. And I would say my second thing is don't be afraid to reach out to anyone, which is something else that you told me. Don't be afraid to send cold emails. And I would say have a draft in your Google Docs, your notes, whatever you use, of like a pitch where you're like, this is what I do, this is who I am, and just email people. And I've gotten so many amazing responses from people in the music world, the fashion world, the film world, just from reaching out. And I think that that is an untapped thing that people are scared to do, but just do it.
Agreed. Do you have a favorite interview you've done so far?
My first interview, my real first real interview will always be one that is special to me. I interviewed my roommate Jordan Baker, who is a background actress in the Toronto film scene, and doing it with a friend I think was really cool and like a good start because there's no expectations. It's kind of just like a conversation. So that was super special to me. And then I would say that like the coolest one in my heart was when I talked to Ben Stellar at the Inhaler concert at History. It was in early March, I think. Yeah, and the band just like stuck around after the show, and I had bought a t-shirt because I really like that band, and I just kind of explained to them what I do, and they said they'd be down to like answer a couple questions, and it was really awesome to get to talk to them. It was like my first kind of higher profile interview, which was really cool. My mom filmed it. It was so last minute and terrible. I came up with the question on the spot. My boyfriend really wanted to go home, but I was like, no. And it was super, super cool. And they followed the page.
And Stellar follows Adore. That's crazy. I did not
I don't
know
know
that.
if they still do, but I watched them do it live, or it might have just been a band member. I don't know, but that was really, really cool.
What can you tell us about the first issue and like what can we expect from it?
Yeah, so issue one is like it's titled like Next Gen. So its focus is really on just like uplifting creatives overall. Like there's no specific theme. But I can tell you about a couple of the pieces. So I did an interview with recording artist Clara Smallman, who is in my kind of peer group in my music classes, and she released a cover of Picture You by Chappell Roan, which now has over 2 million streams on
That's
Spotify.
nuts. Yeah.
It's really cool to see. And so I did a little cafe chat with her. We went to Balzac's and I just interviewed her and wrote a piece on that. I also interviewed my aunt, who I mentioned, on her experience being a mature student at TMU and pursuing fashion later in life. And the whole purpose of that article was just to tell people, like, you can do whatever you want when you want. Like, anyone can make it happen. There's a couple really great pages displaying some really good photography done by some local artists, some posters you can rip out, hang on your wall. Lots of cool stuff. But yeah, you're going to discover your new favorite artist in that issue. So I would definitely grab it.
What makes the four artists you chose, well, including Claire Smallman, the four
Mm-hmm.
artists you chose, the right fit for the Adore launch party?
The four artists, which are Claire Smallman, Triton, Taplin, and Stankonia, fire list. What makes them special is they're all my peers and they're all my friends. And these are all bands that I met through pursuing professional music at Toronto Metropolitan University. And they're bands that I believe in, and they're people that I believe in their creative vision and what they're doing. And they're gonna be famous. Like all of them, well, I know Clara's already famous, but they all have such a unique sound. Like Clara's set, you can expect more acoustic and intimate vibe. And then when you have bands like Triton and Taplin, they're more heavy And then to close it off, we have Stank Anya, which is a jazz funk band, which is something that not a lot of people give the time of day to listen to. But it's so different, and I think that that's what makes them special. Is it's four groups that bring a completely different sound. They're all from Toronto, and I think that's really awesome too, because that's our whole mission is to promote artists in Toronto. And you're gonna dance, you're gonna have some drinks, you're gonna have some food, and it's gonna be lit.
I will be having some drinks.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I will also be having some drinks.
Dream designer or brand to work with?
Oh, that's a really good one. This is like way out of my league. Always Vivienne Westwood.
It's a dream though. It doesn't have to be like.
It's true. I love Vivienne Westwood. Their collections just never fail. Their punk couture, it's just so different, and it's kind of protest fashion. And I think that that is really dope. And then brand, I would say like I really want to work with a really high profile music group like Universal, Sony to put on a festival or a show. I think would be really really cool.
Dream headliner for an Adore magazine show.
Probably been stellar. And I'm not just kind of riding the wagon. I think that they're a great band. If I had to pick a Toronto a Toronto band, obviously Drake. I'm kidding. I really love The Weeknd. I know that he's like absolutely on top of the world right now. I think he's number one on Spotify and has been. Shout out The Weeknd. Come to my show, please. I'd like to say thank you for having me, and thank you for all you've done for me and my brand and our friendship. Adore Mag launch party, April 2nd, 2025. Pull up. There's going to be some awesome brands, awesome bands. I'm going to be selling the first issue, and it's going to be super lit. You should be there and follow Adore Mag on Instagram
Adore magazine pop up April 1st
as well
on Gold
with
Street.
Southport
I'll be there.
and some other brands. So you guys should pop by. It's going to be super lit.
Bye.